It is so good to be together. I look forward all year to being with all of you to celebrate our amazing community. I want to thank the National Volunteer Leadership Council for singing happy birthday to me last night. I can't think of a better way to celebrate turning 46 than to be with this community and all of you. Yeah. You are the community that has made my life possible. I'm so very grateful. In June, our family will have another special celebration when my son, Mac, graduates from high school. Yes. It's a milestone moment many families look forward to, but for our family, it was something we once only dreamed of. When I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis in the early 1980s, my parents quietly hoped that I would live long enough to graduate from high school myself. And when Mac was born, I hoped that I would live long enough to see him graduate. And I will be there, healthy and full of life, the result of decades of bold research, tireless fundraising, and an extraordinary community that never has stopped pushing for more. You know what makes the CF community so effective? Research shows that the most successful teams share one thing in common: a clear, compelling purpose that unites people across roles and backgrounds. That's our team: researchers, clinicians, advocates, staff members, volunteers, families, and people living with cystic fibrosis, joining together for one purpose: to fulfill our mission. You are the force that moves this mission forward. You give your time, your resources, your voices, your hearts, again and again. You rally your communities, you inspire hope, you turn urgency into action. You make progress possible and milestones attainable in so many ways. A few weeks ago, my cousin sent me a picture of a flyer taped to the window of his local coffee shop. It was posted by a mom raising money for her 7-year-old with cystic fibrosis, inviting people to support their Great Strides team. She was sharing her story, and she was asking for help to ensure a healthy and more promising future, not only for her daughter, but for everyone with CF. Her daughter takes Trikafta, and with that comes a lot of hope. But she knows, and we all know, that our job is not done. How many of you have done the same, written letters, asked friends and family to contribute to fundraisers, advocated for fair policies? This is the power of our community: showing up, telling our stories, raising money for research, pressing hard to move this mission forward. And thanks to our commitment, together, we raise nearly $100 million every year, one flyer, one event, one act of hope at a time. We have made incredible progress, but there are still people in our community who are waiting for answers to persistent infections, waiting for research that can improve transplant outcomes, waiting for treatments that better address the manifestations of CF outside of the lung, and waiting especially for their breakthrough drug. And as we shape our next strategic plan, we're holding tight to the spirit that got us here: bold, innovative, relentless. We're taking today's challenges head on with a focus on infection research, personalized, equitable care, and a deeper understanding of what it means to age with CF, a new frontier for our community. And as always, we remain focused on what matters most: a highly effective treatment for every person with CF, and ultimately, a cure. And I know we have all the right people to get us there. First, I want to take a moment to recognize the incredible staff of the CF Foundation. So much of your work is behind the scenes, and you seldom get the spotlight. but your work lights our path forward. You bring expertise, heart, and an unwavering commitment to this mission, and your fingerprints are on every milestone we have reached. On behalf of our entire community, we thank you. And to all of you in this room and online, people with CF, parents, families, friends, and grampians, you are the heartbeat of this movement. You are the reason we've come this far. Your determination, your courage, your belief in what's possible, that's what fuels us. And when I watch my son cross that graduation stage in June, I will be thinking of all of you, because at the end of the day, we're not just working for better treatments, we're working for more milestones, more birthdays, more graduations, more weddings, and more dreams. Together, we've already changed the course of this disease. Together, we're making history. And we'll keep going together, faster, bolder, more united than ever, until it's done. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Michael Boyle, the president and the CEO of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Mike has more than 25 years of experience in CF care and research and is internationally known for his leadership in the development of the breakthrough drugs that treat the underlying cause of CF, which are now transforming the lives of so many people with CF. Before taking on his current role in 2020, Mike served as the Foundation's Senior Vice President for Therapeutics Development for 5 years, a time of significant progress in emerging CF treatments. Before joining the Foundation, Mike served as the founding director of the Johns Hopkins Adult Cystic Fibrosis Center, where which he developed into one of the top CF programs in the country. Mike is a beloved physician, and I especially know this to be true since Mike was my doctor in my early 20s. Mike continues to provide direct care to people with CF at Johns Hopkins. I am grateful every day for Mike's leadership and commitment to our mission. Please join me in welcoming someone who is a uniting force in our community, inspiring all of us to champion our mission and move forward with purpose and heart, Dr. Michael Boyle. Proud of you.
Let's go get him. Well, thank you, KC, and happy birthday. Happy birthday. 46 is a big one. Only 46 or more to go. So we know we celebrate those birthdays in the CF community. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, San Antonio. It is wonderful to be together in this beautiful city. What a great setting for our 2025 Volunteer Leadership Conference. And I hope that along with the conference, you get the opportunity to explore the city, enjoy its rich and distinctive culture. In fact, you've probably noticed there's some of the signage in both English and Spanish, really reflecting the fullness of this culture and our CF community as well. For those joining us online, we just say welcome. Welcome, you're part of us. We're so glad you're here. To the many adults with CF who have joined us online, please know that you are our true guests of honor at this conference, and we're so pleased to have you. I'm going to give a shout out to actually one other special person that's joining us online, and that is my mother. She received some really tough health news yesterday. So, Mom, I just want to say I love you. I'm thinking of you. Keep going. And then last, I want to acknowledge all of those who are attending VLC for the first time and just say welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now officially part of the CF Foundation VLC family, and let me assure you, this is an absolutely great family to be part of. You're going to see over the next, maybe you noticed last night, you started to notice, but you'll notice over the next day or two. We have an inspiring and informative agenda for you over the next 2 days, all led by our fantastic VLC co-chairs, Maureen Ballard and Brian Johnson. Like so many of you, Maureen and Brian are passionate volunteers whose dedication to our mission is absolutely unwavering. Their approach constantly reminds us that to achieve progress, we need a combination of steadfast commitment and urgent action. A commitment to persistently stay the course and steadily press forward, even in the face of challenges, while also urgently pursuing opportunities as they arise in key areas of CF, whether that's in science, or care, or advocacy, or fundraising. It's through this combination of steadfastness and urgency that we're going to continue this amazing CF story of progress, which is the envy of so many across medicine, especially driving progress for those who have urgent need for breakthrough medications, who are facing other challenges in CF that we need to overcome. Now, you're going to hear all the details of this science and care progress, as well as the challenges that we're facing throughout the conference. We need this combination of steadfast commitment and urgent action, also because key areas of government support for science and CF, the NIH and the FDA in particular, are undergoing dramatic changes right now. And there may be some of those opportunities for urgent action in the area of advocacy, so we can ensure that those changes don't slow us down. You'll hear about this as well during this meeting. And this is a theme that you're going to hear throughout the conference. Amazing progress, but still some big challenges, right? I'm proud of what we've done, but reality of what we're facing, but a lot of hope. But there's one main reason that I'm absolutely confident going forward, and that is that there is no one better, absolutely no one better than the CF community and the CF Foundation in facing big challenges and overcoming them together. Now, it's okay for me to say that. There's no one better. I admit I'm biased. You're probably biased as well. But what if I asked, or what if we asked someone who has detailed knowledge of every medical community and every disease across the world, someone who was able to assess all the medical and disease community knowledge ever written and published across the entire internet, would they agree? Well, we can do that now, right? And Wednesday, when I was preparing this talk, I went on my phone and asked ChatGPT this question. And I'm telling you, this is word for word what I saw. If you don't believe me, come see me, I'll show you my phone. I asked this: what disease community is best in the world at partnering with their disease foundation to bring forward therapies which have transformed the disease? Now, we all know that ChatGPT is not all-knowing or perfect, but it does pull from all available resources and evaluations across the internet. And any guesses on the answer? Well, here's what it said. We can go to the next slide. The cystic fibrosis community. That's how I felt in my hotel room. I sort of stood up. I didn't cheer, but I was thinking, whoa. The cystic fibrosis community is widely regarded as the most successful in the world at partnering with its disease foundation, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, to bring forward therapies that have fundamentally transformed the course of this disease. It then goes on to outline in the rest of the answer, there's much more, why the CF community stands out. I'm not going to show you all the screenshots, but I'm going to tell you one. It says, here's some of the things that highlighted. Number one, relentless patient foundation partnership, including helping to shape research priorities, participating in clinical trials, and contributing data. Number two, power and advocacy. Number three, successful fundraising. And then last, and I love this one, a culture of trust and collaboration. This is number four here. In fact, this culture section had some of my favorite lines when you look at it. It says, there's a deep mutual trust between the community and the foundation, and each recognizes the other's essential role in progress. It also said, families see the foundation as not just a funder or advocate, but as a strategic partner in survival. And so I would just say, wow. It's an absolute privilege for us to be your strategic partner. It then went on to go ahead and list a few other diseases, but it wraps up the answer to that original question with this final statement. But if you're looking for the best example of a disease community to partner with its foundation to truly transform a disease, CF is the gold standard. So So as we enter this meeting, we know we've made amazing progress, but we also know we still have major challenges to tackle. But this is why we can be confident, right? And so for starters, we know there are some things that we have to achieve. And up at the top of that is we must develop transformative therapy for all people with CF, no matter what mutations they have. We need to make progress in areas of challenge people with CF continue to face, and Casey mentioned some of these: GI issues, diabetes, infection. We need to design our care and care center network to best fit the changing needs and journeys of people with CF, particularly adults with CF. We have challenges ahead in advocacy, big goals in fundraising to make sure we have the resources we need to get the job done. And of course, we have the ultimate challenge that we never lose sight of and that drives us every day, and that is to make CF stand for Cured Forever. As we look at these big challenges, let's simultaneously remember, though, who we are: the best medical community and foundation in the world, and partnering together to overcome big challenges and transform a disease. So let's keep saying that to ourselves and to each other this weekend. Yes, big challenges, but best in the world. And I'm going to keep saying that. Maybe the shortcut I'll use is just say best in the world. So now that we have that phrase embedded in our head, and let's keep that one throughout this meeting, let's do one other thing to kick off the meeting, and that is let's spend some time celebrating the progress that we've made together in just the last 12 months since we were last at VLC. Now, you're going to hear many details on this in the days ahead and later on today, but a few highlights I wanted to. So at the top of this list, certainly in December, we had 2 giant wins in the CFTR modulator space, right? One of these involved Trikafta, with the FDA expanding the number of people eligible to take Trikafta by adding 94 additional mutations to the approved label. Now, most of these, there we go, somebody Now, most of these are rare mutations, but one of these, N1303K, is the 5th most common CF mutation, and people with this mutation are now able to take Trikafta and have been showing dramatic improvement from it. And I want to recognize our very own CF Therapeutics lab team based in Boston, especially the lab's leader, Dr. Martin Mentz, for their contributions to this, because Martin and his team were among the first to realize that Trikafta could help those with the N1303K mutation. And this led to key trials, including one funded by the CF Foundation, which really helped convince the FDA to make this approval. Also in December, along with expanding the Trikafta label, the FDA approved a brand new CFTR modulator therapy, Alyftrek, for people with CF ages 6 and older, for all the same CFTR mutations that are eligible for Trikafta, but also another 31 additional mutations on top that had never been approved for anything before. The main difference with Alyftrek, really, besides this expanded label and additional people who can take it, is it's taken once a day, and it may be slightly more effective than Trikafta based on a little bit larger effect on sweat chloride in clinical trials. That's something we're going to be continuing to assess. But really, thanks to these 2 new approvals, over 500 new people with cystic fibrosis in the US are now able to take either Trikafta or Alyftrek. And this approval represents the 17th new drug developed for CF, an incredible sign of success, right? And one more reason is to say to each other, best in the world, best in the world. Now, as we push to expand the modulator therapy impact, I'm also excited to share that a completely new modulator combination from a different company, Sionna, is now moving into phase 2 clinical trials. You know, although we already have Trikafta and Alyftrek, and we're excited about that, having another alternative, potentially even more effective, would be a wonderful option, especially for those who maybe haven't been able to tolerate or have had side effects from current medicines. And next, what I will say is always, of course, at the top of our scientific priorities, in the front of our hearts, are those who have mutations that are not able to benefit from current CFTR modulator therapies. We've continued to make progress over the last 12 months there as well. We know that these individuals will require genetic therapies to treat the underlying cause of their disease, right? And it's on the science of genetic therapies that our research team is absolutely laser focused. This science focuses on treating at the RNA or DNA level, and we now have multiple different early phase clinical trials in this area, 4 of which are now in phase 2, and with some of these to have results later on this year, particularly in the RNA space. Now, this is hard science, but we are continuing to press forward and learn with each step along the way. Another key area in the genetic therapy space is gene editing, right? Meaning using a therapy to remove, or more correctly say, correct the CF mutations that a person with CF has. And over the past year, we've advanced work with 2 gene editing companies in particular, Recode Intellia and Prime Medicine, each backed by $15 million in the CF Foundation funding. Now, this work is still in the lab being developed, but is clearly making progress. And we are absolutely committed to this work because we believe that gene editing will eventually form the basis of a cure for CF. Now, you're going to hear a lot more about all of this, as well as other clinical research on infection and diabetes and GI issues and mental health from our Chief Scientific Officer, Dr. Steve Rowe, and our head of our clinical research, Dr. J.P. Clancy, during our science and medical panel later on today. But what about progress in care? I was talking about cure, care, community. We had cure. What about care? What progress have we made over the last 12 months there? Well, the answer is we've made progress in care in a number of areas. For starters, our CFF care team, led by Dr. Al Farrow, our Chief Medical Officer, led the publication of 2 papers setting out recommendations for tailoring medical visits to what a person with CF is experiencing with their health, rather than just automatically following the same every 3-month visit recipe for everyone with CF. This is a welcome and needed change. I think it's going to really continue to tailor that care for people with CF. Another big sign of progress happened just yesterday, hot off the presses, and that is the CF Foundation published brand new CF newborn screening guidelines as the next step in getting every state in the US to follow a best practice approach so that all babies with CF are diagnosed early and get the care that they need. This builds on work the foundation started years ago, but it's that next step in making sure we do the absolute best thing for people with CF. Another area in the progress in care has been evident in our annual patient registry data, and our annual data which shows continued impressive positive clinical trends. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but improvement in lung function, the number of pulmonary exacerbations and lung transplants being actually at all-time lows. I think if you just look as a quick on this slide, if you just look at the red, that's at the age of 18, the number of people who have severe lung disease, FEV1 less than 40%. You can see how much that has changed over time. Another sign of incredible progress. You're going to hear about this and many other care items from Dr. Whitney Brown, our Vice President for Clinical Affairs, during the panel today. Of course, there are a few highlights. These are the highlights really from the first 2 C's, right? We always think about those 3 C's, cure, care, and community. These were cure and care. And there are so many more we can talk about in community, and you're going to be hearing about those today, including from Mary Dwight during our advocacy session, and then later on tonight when you're going to hear the exciting results of our Milestones 3 campaign. I want to highlight one other important ongoing project that started late last year, and it will continue throughout the year, and that is the development of our next 5-year strategic plan. We take this planning really, really seriously, led by Maren Goings and our strategy team. Because we know that it's essential that we boldly identify our highest and most important priorities in cure, care, and community, and focus our energy and resources on those. Thank you to everyone who took the survey early this year asking for your input, there we go, your input on what's important to you. We really look forward as we continue this plan to be able to share out that plan and the plan for advancing those key priorities late in the year. Along with that strategic plan, we also continue to very thoughtfully tailor our long-term financial model. Now, this is a plan that guides the way that we spend our money to ensure that we drive key priorities today, but we also preserve sufficient resources to complete our mission of curing this disease. And this is going to require us to be disciplined with our spending, to focus on those key priorities, and also continuing to effectively fundraise. And we look forward to your partnership in this. We need you on this to really get the job done. Now, in a moment, you're going to hear from our Executive Vice President, Chief Operating and Financial Officer, Irena Barisic. And Irena has been leading the way in thinking about both how the foundation positions ourselves financially for success in the future, and also partner with you to continue to be effective fundraisers. What I'm going to say is when you meet her, or you hear her speak, or when you meet her in person, you'll be touched by her head and heart combination. It's what we always talk about that foundation, having a head and a heart, as well as her commitment to a partnership with the CF community while we advance our shared mission. And before I turn over the mic over to Irena, I want to remind us one more time, big challenges, but best in the world. Best in the world. Let's get this on. Let's keep together transforming disease, and most importantly, transforming the lives of people with CF and their families everywhere. Now please welcome Irena Barisic on the stage with me. Get up.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mike. Big challenges, best in the world. Definitely will remember that. It's absolutely wonderful to be with you all this morning, including those of you who are joining us online. I am so happy to have this chance to share my personal gratitude to each of you for all you do for people with CF, our community, and the foundation all year round. Thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. I would also like to extend a special welcome to those who are taking part in this conference for the first time. We are thrilled that you are with us. Our first-time attendees here in San Antonio are wearing a special button, just like this one. And so I encourage our VLC veterans here to introduce yourselves and to connect with our new attendees. But first, let me ask all of you who are new to VLC to please stand up. And for those online, please raise your hand. Woo! Wow, welcome. As Mike said, we are part of a family. We welcome you. You are now our family. Over what has been a very dynamic year, I have had the chance to get to know many of you in this varied, energetic, and deeply devoted family across the country. And the challenge I wake up to very much with excitement every day is how to position the foundation for long-term success so we are best able to support all people with CF and our community and advance our mission. And I've had the pleasure of countless enriching conversations and the opportunity to explore hundreds, and I do mean hundreds, of innovative ideas. And overall, 3 key lessons have stood out to me. And so I'll touch on these briefly with you this morning. First, what has succeeded in the past is not always the right blueprint for the future. The goal of our focused efforts in the field is to create a vision for the future that is designed to best meet the changing needs of our community while also nurturing what already works so well, our invaluable relationships in the field. One important priority for the foundation is how we can offer more opportunities for adults with CF to engage with the foundation on a more personal level. As the adult CF population is growing, we want to find proactively and create promising avenues for deepening engagement of adults, whether in person or virtually. Second, San Antonio may be far from San Diego or New York, but what we have in common unites and connects us, and it is truly powerful. One of the reasons I love coming to VLC is that this is the best reminder of our collective power. And Casey touched on this, and Mike touched on this, and it is really special. It is truly our superpower. So over the next couple of days, we are going to learn together, network, brainstorm. We're going to challenge one another, embrace one another, and have some fun. I hope y'all brought your cowboy boots. We're gonna scoot and boogie. We know that we will not find all of the answers to our questions during this conference, but this is where important connections and conversations will happen as we together forge the path to a better future for all people with CF. And finally, and most important, there is no success without our community. There is no success without our community. None of the goals we set can be achieved without the commitment, the passion, the generosity, and the grit of all of you who join us here today and the thousands of community members who stand behind our vital work and put their talents and their hearts into advancing our mission. I am so, so grateful for your partnership and your dedication, and I'm really excited about all that lies ahead and all we can accomplish. Together, we can. And we have an exciting program over the next 2 days. I know we are all looking forward to the medical and research panel this afternoon. We'll have more opportunities to dive into science and care, along with sessions on fundraising, advocacy, leadership skills, and plenty of other topics, plus, again, some fun and entertaining events. But as always, I really, really look forward to meeting as many of you as possible while you are here. Please make sure to introduce yourselves when you can. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful conference. And now, Molly, I'll turn it back over to you.